Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Dead or Alive 5 alpha demo. Now in North America you could only get this if you pre-ordered the game or if you bought it like right at the beginning in at GameStop, which honestly really annoyed me that you had to actually do this. Luckily enough I actually won this demo code in a contest on Dead or Alive Wikia, which was really nice that I didn't have to bother buying it. Just in case you didn't get it from the intro there, this was from the PlayStation 3 version, and this is the Collector's Edition, which includes all 4 characters, Ayane, Hitomi, Hayate, and Hayabusa. Here's your basic menu. What I'm doing right here right away is changing the language to Japanese voices, because honestly, I don't know if they're preliminary or if this is how the final ones will sound. The English voices sound horribly bad. They make your ears vomit, basically. And as you can see, here's your 4 characters. Now this may not be what the final screen looks like, of course, because this is just the alpha demo. And as you can see, since it's still just an alpha demo, both Ayane and Hitomi there were like mouthing words, but nothing was coming out of their mouth. Which is still the weirdest thing, unless they're going to add that later. Who knows? And now here's the only level in the game. This was the one shown in the video. And of course, I'm on the left here as Ayane. And what I definitely have to say when you talk about how the move lists have been tweaked a bit in this game is that it's kind of how going from Dead or Alive 3 to Dead or Alive 4, you take an already good moveset, you tweak it so you have a much faster experience in general, and just it flows a lot better in my opinion. And if you saw what Ayane did right there, that was one of the special moves in the game where you hold the R1 button, they unleash an attack, and as long as your opponent doesn't block it, it leads to this predetermined combo, and then you have to push another button or two, and it finishes the combo. Now I could see where they're going here, and as long as they develop it better, where maybe you have a choice of different commands and different combos you can finish with, that would make sense. But if it's the same combo every time, I think it would just get annoying. And now here's Hayate. All 4 characters in this demo have 2 costumes each. So the ones you've been seeing me using are the first costumes. I believe in this footage I actually do use the second costumes for everyone in one way or another. But the cool part about this level is if a character gets hit in into a certain wall, it will cause certain debris to fall. It will cause the level to move, and this is our good old cliffhanger move. And in one of the times I was playing, which sadly is not included in here, I actually was able to evade Ayane's cliffhanger move as Hayabusa, and basically what happened was, instead of like Ayane either punching or hitting Hayabusa, they both just fell down, and they were both ready when they landed on the ground. So you do have the chance to defend. Now both those combos and the cliffhanger moves I think are a nice touch, but the one thing I would appreciate in the final version of the game is if there was a way to disable those, because when you're really getting into, like, let's say tournament play or serious competitive play, something like that could just be so abused. And the costume you see Ayane using here is the second costume, which is slightly tweaked from Dead or Alive 4 or even Dead or Alive Ultimate. But it's a very similar costume, and of course, Ryu Hayabusa, considering this came with the Ninja Gaiden 3 Collector's Edition, is wearing his Ninja Gaiden outfit. Strange thing I found, at least in this alpha demo, is that if you don't press those buttons in time, it'll be delayed, but eventually they'll just do the same attack they would have done anyway. And of course, longtime fans of the series, when Hayabusa did the throw off the cliffhanger, you'll notice that was the good old Izuna drop that he's done in every Dead or Alive game since the very first one. I was playing around with it, and it appears you actually can do it in the just as a regular throw instead of doing it as the throw off the cliffhanger. But I was just never good at it since it requires a lot of revolutions of the analog stick. And now I'm selecting Hitomi in her second costume and Hayate in his second costume, so you can see what those look like. And luckily the loading isn't too long in this, so it's not like it breaks up the action too much. And as I'd mentioned in the beginning there, I filmed this with my HD camcorder because I honestly think that it looks a bit better than it would have looked if I had just connected the PS3 to the TV and used the composite cables, because, you know, that would have been standard definition, and I have a feeling this game would have looked very bland like that. Because if you look at any of the high-definition footage that's available, it's just basically very detailed game. You can see dirt on a character's arms, like it gets on their outfit and everything if your character gets knocked down too many times. You see sweat coming off of their brow. It's honestly the most detailed Dead or Alive game I've ever played. And at the time, I don't recall why I did this, but I selected another match. I guess I wanted it a little bit more Hayate. And of course, if you aren't a real fan of Dead or Alive, you haven't played it for a long time, Hayate is Kasumi's brother. In Dead or Alive 2, he was known as Ein, because his memory had been erased. In Dead or Alive 3, of course, he got his memory back, and then he was back as Hayate. So that's the first game he actually was Hayate, not Ein. He was a bonus character in Dead or Alive 3. Dead or Alive 3 and 4. You could still play as the original Ein, who had a moveset very similar to Hitomi here. Now, since we're talking about Dead or Alive 5, obviously, I think it's time to address some rumors that have been going around. The biggest one, of course, being the whole character roster being leaked. Now, a lot of people are saying, where's Tengu, where's Ein? And to that, I simply have to say, you basically decrypted a file in an alpha demo. This demo is not part of the final game, it's just part of a game that, from what I understand, is less than 20% done at the moment, so they probably have a few characters and a few stages done, and that's all they have. So, maybe when they put the quote-unquote character roster in there, the idea was this would just be a placeholder to see if we can actually put a character roster in there and it'd have slots for multiple characters. Although I could easily see characters like Pai and Sarah turn out to be add-on characters from Virtua Fighter along with Akira, which, honestly, I was personally surprised when I heard about that. It was like, hey, Hayazaki, do you think Dead or Alive could ever cross with the franchise, kind of like Street Fighter cross Tekken? He's like, yeah, if it was any series, it would be Virtua Fighter, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while. A week later, you get the trailer where it shows Kasumi fighting Akira, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't think that'd be so soon. And then here's another match between Ayane and Hayabusa. And if you look really closely during some of these matches, you'll notice what I was mentioning earlier, but the stuff moves around in very distinct ways, and a lot of times you notice how it's collapsing here. It depends on how you fought and basically how different actuators in the level have been hit. Like, certain parts of the wall will trigger certain things to collapse, which this whole, as they called it, dynamic stage thing, I thought was a very good idea, and I really do look forward to see more stages in Dead or Alive 5 to see what they actually look like and what kind of interactions they'll have. And as you can see at the end there, if you knock out a character and they fall off the cliffhanger, they don't have a chance to recover. They just fall off, and if there were another match, it would just start down on the bottom. And of course, here's a bit more Hitomi and some Ryu Hayabusa in his Ninja Gaiden outfit again. I find it weird that I play a rather limited demo here, and I can actually sit and play this for hours, where I just like select Ayane and some character and just keep playing matches and finding different moves that can be performed. Like, I did find out, I'm not sure if it's in this footage or not, but Ayane is able to do my favorite throw, which is the one where she goes behind you, grabs your back, twirls around, and lands on your back. I always thought that was a really cool throw, and I was very happy to find out it actually was in this demo. And just in case anybody says one of their moves is not included here, as I'd mentioned earlier, keep in mind this is just an alpha demo, and it is not going to be exactly like the final game. Sure, this stage and all eight of these costumes will probably be in the final game, but I doubt it's going to be exactly the same as you see it here. And as you can see with the clothing, the clothing is very detailed as well, and everything just appears like it's really real. There are some bugs in the models, like for instance, I know in what's her name, Hitomi's lost animation, and in fact I'll actually be showing it toward the end of the video here. Her one piece of hair, like on the right side in the front, does this weird flopping thing where it doesn't quite like hang over, but it kind of sticks up a little bit and goes over. It's like maybe the physics got all messed up, but you'll see what I'm talking about in just a couple minutes here. But yeah, I definitely like playing this pre-alpha demo, as you call it, or alpha demo. And if you look in the background, there's a pink advertisement for Ninja Gaiden 3 very much in the background on that building. So it's kind of cool how they sneak stuff in like that. I remember correctly, I think it was either, Dead or Alive Ultimate that there was a Ninja Gaiden advertisement in. And I remember playing this match here, and I was really mad that I had gotten Hayabusa so close to the cliffhanger, and then he killed me. And yeah, the difference between the throw and the attack, like the attack move, is in the attack move, like you saw Hitomi there, all she really did was she did a combo, and then the enemy landed kind of knocked out-ish on the ground, and then she landed. Whereas with the cliffhangers that end in throws, usually the character will kind of spiral down and hit the ground with the character like underneath them or something, because it's like an involved throw. And now what I want to do here is I'll do one more match with Ayane. And I wanted to show you all the loss animations, because you've seen what all the characters look like and what they say when they win. That's common enough. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of videos here, but I figured I would show you what the loss animations look like. So if a character doesn't win, and you get that kind of like continue type screen, this is what it'll look like. But this match, sadly, the AI in this alpha demo isn't the best. So I know sometimes when I'm deliberately trying to lose, I can't quite do it because the AI isn't accommodating. Because they're just kind of walking around and they're not really beating me up like I wish they would. Hayabusa's being a little bit better here. And if you saw right there, that's that throw I was talking about, where she grabs their back, twirls around, and lands on their back. That's still my favorite Ayane throw in the series. I don't recall it being in Dead or Alive 1. Of course, that one where she twirls backwards and she throws them with her legs is pretty cool, too. I always thought that was really cool, that when she does her somersault, and then you can do moves backwards. There's also another key combination that'll allow her to actually face backwards without doing any kind of move. Now, my problem with those cliffhanger moves is when I got thrown off of them, I didn't realize that when it displays the keys, that's not when you're supposed to hit it. You're supposed to hit the key, like either the evade or the block, just as the character is about to hit you. And if you do that, and you time it just right, it's probably just like your block kick block type deal, where if you do the right one, it'll cancel out what they were doing, and as I mentioned earlier, you'll both just safely land on the ground. But yeah, the Dead or Alive 5 alpha demo is really fun, and it makes me really look forward to Dead or Alive 5. So, now we're going to take a look at the lost animations. Ione's is a bit of the weirdest one, where she's lying on the ground, and she's actively panting here. It's kind of like a bad porno movie, how she pants when she's on the ground here. And if you don't press the X to proceed, the character will just stay in that animation. And notice that hair thing I was telling you about earlier. See how her hair's just kind of bopping all around and it's not quite right? I just find it funny that when I captured it, it did that. And here's Hayabusa. He doesn't seem as sad about it. He's just holding his wrist, I guess, because it hurt. And then finally, we're going to see Hayate here. He's not as devastated either. Oh, and one more thing is that special danger zone down in the bottom. There was one where I actually hit Hayabusa into a car, and a pillar fell through the car and exploded. Well, that's been the Dead or Alive 5 alpha demo. I shall see you later in another video. Bye.